We low-key gotta talk about this one because we promised it on the last one.
Oh, the
With
Guadalupe shit.
The Guadalupe, cause it all started. I remember being there, bro. My dog Juan Diego was out chilling.
I was fucking Guadalupe herself, dude.
That's kind of fucked up. You should probably take that back.
I'll take that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I'll take
But yeah,
that.
he was chilling, right? He was chilling. This is my sequence of events. He was chilling, and then, dude, this is the same thing with God. A motherfucker is just chilling out, minding his own business on his lunch break, until some fucking deity's like, "You want to be the first?
What up?
What up? What's good, bro?" He's like, "I'm low-key gonna take you in on this one, so you gotta listen real closely, bro." And then, Guadalupe was like, she's like, "I low-key need you to make me a shrine. I need you to
do this for me.
You need to make a shrine in my motherfucking name, G. All right? LG, you know what I mean?" And then he was like, "I got you, but where do we start?" And then she's like, "All right, check this out. Yeah, I get some leaves for me," which were not in bloom during that time, which I think was like during the winter.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "I got you, bro. Go over there." And then he was like, "I found it." And then he had some other bullshit that he needed to get. And he had like this fucking Tillman, this carpet.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "All right, what do we do next?" And she's like, "You're gonna make my shit right here, G." And he's like, "I bet." This is probably the first construction worker in recorded history, if you think about it.
Which is kind of racist because he was Mexican.
First spiritual construction worker. And then my boy Juan was like, "All right, what's next?" And then so she was like, "I go over here." I think I might be butchering a lot of these things. But then he went to like this one dude to like get signed to start making the shrine and shit, right?
Yeah.
And so the guy was like, "Well, what the fuck is it then?" And he's like, "I got you, bro. Check this shit out." And mind you, there's nothing in this motherfucking like carpet, but with all the materials he has.
Yeah.
And so he whips that bitch out. And then there's the motherfucking the Virgin of Guadalupe, bro, right there on the goddamn tart. Magically appears. And he's like, "All right, we doing this shit now." And then
we gotta start fucking we gotta start Catholicism.
It's like this, this is real. This is fucking real. And then this was like in the 1500s, by the way, which is honestly kind of insane because it's either 13 or 1500. Because God was like what, a couple thousand years before that one.
So 1500 years before that.
Yeah, and I'm like, see, bro,
that's what I'm saying, bro. So like, why doesn't God? And we're not trying to be blasphemous, heresy. We're not trying to be none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, why doesn't God show himself now? You know what I mean? Like, why doesn't, now that we have like video evidence, my boy, you know, why doesn't God or like any of the saints be like, "What up? You know, what's good?" and show himself? Maybe it's because he wants people to actually believe with faith instead of like, you know, forcing people. You know what I'm saying?
And then what's pretty dope about the fucking Tillum, I don't know if it's Tilrim, or the carpet,
but it's a picture. Supposedly, it's still the material that Juan Diego used was supposed to be, what's it called? Like decomposed by now.
Yeah, it basically
like
should
that.
be like non-existent.
It should be like it should have been like decomposed by now. But however many years later, 1,000 years later, whatever it is, I'm not going with math. Years later, it's still like almost in perfect condition.
Yeah, and then a lot of people who do like paintings and even like renowned artists have like checked it out in person and have said that it doesn't look painted because obviously they're fucking professionals and shit. And they're like, there's no like little strokes and shit that you can see where it's like start to finish. It looks like someone just like plastered it with like one massive stroke without like taking off the fucking paintbrush or taking off like the pencil and shit. And then they put on under a microscope, and you can supposedly see like a reflection in her eyes. And mind you, like the image is pretty.
I heard it's like very like detailed, bro. Like
extremely detailed.
You could see reflections in her eyes, and like it's like super detailed. Like for it to be that old, it's like super detailed, bro.
And for it to be on like a carpet or like some type of material that he used and
fucking
shit.
horse flesh and shit.
And it's like, goddamn, like it's fucking dope. And I think somebody from like the fucking Vatican or some fucking church like checked it out in person. And he was like, "Yeah, this is a painted, like this is like some like real fucking like
Well, I mean,
some real shit right here,
I
bro.
haven't seen the original, but I have seen there's a duplicate one in Mexico where we're from, and it's very like it looks very like detailed. Like it looks like it was a painting. Like it looks like it's a but then there's also a bunch of like what is it called when they show themselves to you?
Oh, apparitions.
Not apparitions. It's another word. I don't know. Let's just say apparitions. There's a lot of like accounts of like the Virgin Mary popping up in a lot of places, like Fatima. That's what they say, the lady, Our Lady of Fatima, right? It appeared to two little girls. They brought it, whatever. Then there's another recent one, bro, from like there's a photograph of it. I think it's the Lady of Fatima. They actually took a picture of the apparition that they were seeing, and it came out in the picture, and it looks like Mary going like this, looking down. It looks fucking legit. Look it up to our editor. Make sure to put it up on the screen so they know what we're talking about. But there's a lot of like documentation and stuff like that of the Virgin Mary popping up and stuff.
And then they've done like some like color reverse shit on it too. And they said that there's like a shit ton of like patterns inside of it. If you make it black and white, there's like music inscribed into it as well. That they swear that they didn't like notice at first. I did see a video and like photos of it that like when they make it black and white, or they like put certain like things on top of it to like alter like the patterns and shit.
Yeah.
There's like shapes, like dots and like music inscribed to it or something. Well, and I'm like, that's fucking weird as fuck.
Also, the